Hey guys, McLellan,
Al Lewison.
welcome to today's Wealth WOD.
Workout of the day.
Got a question regarding understanding the local market. It's probably the biggest key message to get out of today. Someone wrote into us and said they want to purchase a 5-year-old 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car apartment in Port Melbourne, in Melbourne. It's a great example. They said most of the gentrification and development's already happened in Port Melbourne, so they can't see many more future apartments coming onto the market around the Port Melbourne area.
So people not from Victoria or from Melbourne, Port Melbourne is an area on the bay basically, so there's no development beyond Port Melbourne because it's right on the water, really nice spot there.
Between the city and the beach.
It was developed over probably the last 10 years, probably even more so, the last between 5 and 10 years ago. A lot of it's done now. And they're right, in Port Melbourne itself, there's probably not a great deal of competition that can come their way. So that's just to give it sort of a snapshot of what Port Melbourne is.
So we'll give this example of what I'll go through with what to look for and having a good understanding of what's going on in surrounding areas, but this can be applied to any area. And this is really the key of this WOD. So give us a run there, mate. Obviously what's happening around understanding what's going through council changes, local, state council changes, and how this person is really going to get lucked out. I just want to put one thing in there first, which I think is a really important one.
You're pointing?
Yeah, a 5-year-old apartment. What are you thinking? 5-year-old, you've already lost like good depreciation. So one of the good things about buying any property is getting depreciation, which helps with your holding costs over those first period of time until your rent goes up and the property becomes positive. So first of all, I'm not sure what you're doing looking at a 5-year-old apartment. What's going on around
and add to that, your holding costs are going to have body corporate fees. So I think you said there's 16 apartments in the block this person's looking at.
Yep.
Think about body corporate, you're missing out on depreciation. I'd look at your investment, but in terms of what the question is, what I'd be looking at more importantly is what's happening in the area. Great, Port Melbourne is very developed, not a lot of competition or gentrification going to happen anymore. But one of the golden rules is looking at from where your property you're looking at is, draw a direct line to the CBD or an employment generator, local what do we call
activity centres?
Activity centre.
So CBD in this case.
And what can happen? And guess what? There's 2 things happening right between where you are, big things happening, the Montague precinct and the Fisherman's Bend precinct. So both those areas have been rezoned for capital city height density. So
they've gone from what, 3 or 5 heights?
Probably, let's talk about the Montague precinct first of all. It butts South Melbourne, historically been industrial sort of estate, much like West End in Brisbane, same sort of thing happening there, is that it's all changing from those industrial type areas to more residential towers. So guess what? They can build 30 levels.
No, they can build 100 levels if they want.
They can build 100 levels.
So if you think
competition.
About, competition.
So then picture the Docklands, if you're a Melburnian, or the Docklands for anyone non-Melburnian, is right on the sort of the border of Melbourne, on the Yarra River. There's a whole precinct there called the Docklands where they've built all these massive 30, 40, 50, 60 level apartment buildings, and they're still building them.
I think they're selling for the same price as what they were 15 years ago.
Yeah, so one of the issues when they first created that precinct there, Cam and I looked at them and we said, all right, so they've got a building here, it's just completed, there's 60 levels there. Guess what? They're going to build another one next door, it'll be 60 levels. That one's finished, next door. So from 10 years ago to today, I don't think the prices have moved. What Fisherman's Bend is between the Docklands and Port Melbourne, and the Docklands will continue to sprawl out into that precinct there. So we're not trying to kick the heels into this purchase centre question. We appreciate the question, but what we're saying to people is be well aware of exactly what's happening and do a lot of research other than what's there bubbling away on the surface. Let's delve into what's happening underneath and understand the area, the drivers and the risks. Have a good day.
Have it helps, guys.